And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Miami Heat episode. So, as you can probably guess, we are talking about the Miami Heat all-time starting five. And all five of us are here today. Drew decided to show up for this episode.
I'm back.
And we have no guest, and I don't think I have any more housekeeping. So, we will move into the Miami Heat point guard. And Drew, who is your Miami Heat all-time starting point guard?
Tim Hardaway.
Yeah.
He's mine.
He's also mine.
He's not mine.
Oh, I'm a little surprised. Was it yours, Ray?
Yeah.
So,
Most definitely.
Wade already ruined a perfect game.
Yeah. You'll see why. You'll see.
Well, Drew, you want to tell us about Tim Hardaway?
Oh, well, in Miami, he averaged 17, 7, 3 rebounds, 1.5 steals, 0.1 blocks, but that's not.
8 assists.
Yeah, I think I said that. 7.8, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh. I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame, too, so I think. I don't know. It's just. He was my point guard. I think this is probably their weakest position for sure, I would say, for the Heat. So I thought he'd be a decent fit for the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm. He also made a couple All-Star games in Miami.
Let's say he shot 35% from 3, so not awful, but it's not bad. So.
Yeah. He made 5 All-NBA teams, but I don't know where they came. So I would assume he made 1 or 2 in Miami, but I don't know that for a fact. All right. Well, anybody else have anything to add on old Tim Hardaway? All right, Wade. Who is your point guard?
I have Dwayne Wade at point guard.
I wondered if that was going to be the case.
That's my shooting guard.
That's my shooting guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Wade too. Spell it.
Well, he's on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
nice.
He's on the team. Just we got to figure out a position for him. So, Wade, would you like to tell us about Wade?
Well, Wade, we'll talk about Wade here. He's the greatest Heat player of all time. He's been on all of their championship teams. He has a Finals MVP. I mean, he's just one of the greatest wings ever. We all had him in our top 50 list. I think I had him as the third greatest shooting guard of all time. I think he's the greatest Heat player of all time. So he's obviously going to be on the Heat.
Yeah, I agree. His numbers in Miami of 15 seasons are 22 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists with a steal and a block, 48% shooting, 29 from 3, and 76 for the free throw line. Nobody's ever going to confuse Dwayne Wade with a good shooter, but he was a good player. He's a 13-time All-Star, 8-time All-NBA. Wayne mentioned 3 championships. He made 3 all-defensive teams. I'm going to assume all of these came in Miami because I don't think he won too many awards in Chicago or Cleveland.
No.
No.
I doubt it.
That was the latter part of his career.
So, yeah. Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Well, Wade, since you're the only one left again, who is your shooting guard?
Jimmy Butler.
I knew it.
Oh, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Wade, I think I would have probably agreed with you if he wouldn't have slowly kind of disappeared here towards the end of the playoffs.
Wow.
Because his points per game kept going down each.
Yeah, he hurt his ankle. Let's see.
I mean, well, he said after the game that he's not hurt. And that's not an excuse.
Well, I respect him for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can give him that.
This is what
A lot of people would have wrote
Well,
that.
he got hurt and his stats went down.
LeBron would
There you
have
go.
rode that to the grave, boy. Let me tell you that.
A lot of people would have
He
wrote
couldn't even
grave.
get. No, just on his stuff.
So this is what Biggie would say. Biggie would say he turned back into his real player. He turned back into Jim Butler. He doesn't deserve the MY.
Well,
Oh my
then he was in
God.
the play-in, and he beat the number 1 seed in the NBA and the number 2 seed in the NBA, and the Knicks sprinkled in between them and made it to the NBA Finals with a bunch of players that didn't even get drafted. I mean, I think he did a pretty good job. I think he's a pretty great player.
They need a number 1 scorer. That's what they need.
Yeah, they just need a
Yeah, maybe Damian Lillard will end up down there.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be interesting.
You know, Pat Riley after the season's gonna go. He's gonna go big dog shopping.
Yeah, he is.
That's what he does. When he knows they're close, he goes big dog shopping. Shaq, LeBron, Bosh, Mourning, Hardaway. Those are all Riley acquisitions.
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
But, I mean, Jimmy's one of the best players in the entire NBA. He's one of the best, most importantly, two-way players in the NBA. He's a phenomenal playoff performer. He's just an all-around great player. He rebounds, he passes, he scores. He's a great competitor. He doesn't deal with Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns' bullshit.
Or
Yeah.
the 76ers.
Yeah,
will
or
crap.
Simmons and Embiid's bullshit. And yeah,
Hey.
he's shown the ability to.
I think, is it Jimmy Butler still the one that tells Joel Embiid, you should have just let me guard Kawhi?
Oh,
Because I think because Embiid's the one that said, no, I'll guard him.
on that last shot. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. And in Miami, I mean, 21 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, almost 2 steals, shoots 85% from the line. I mean, not a great 3-point shooter at 26%, but his field goal percentage is just under 50%. So yeah, he's just one of the best players in the NBA, and he's their best player now, and I thought he'd be a great guy to put on here.
So I have two things. First off, Wade.
Yeah.
I very much see the appeal of a Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler backcourt. I can see that very easily. But doing that, you may have formed the worst shooting backcourt in NBA history. Because not only do they both shoot very poorly, but they both shoot a bunch of them while they shoot it poorly.
Well, and you know the three ain't going to shoot no better.
I guess not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 and 5 aren't going to get her done either, so this is going to be a driving.
Four is probably your best bet.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4 might be your best bet. Yeah. But my next thing is you said multiple times there, Wade, that he's one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah.
Where do you think he ranks in the NBA? Like the NBA, I don't need an exact number, but ballpark it. You know, top 10, top 15, top 20.
Probably maybe between 15 and 20, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's where I would say too.
I mean, if everyone in the NBA is healthy and plays the majority of a season, he'd probably make like a third NBA team.
Yeah.
Something like that. You know, he's not the best small forward in the league, you know, but I mean, he's right underneath him. He's right there. He's an upper tier player in the game.
Fair enough. All right. Well, our backcourt is finished. I mean, as far as we have all our guys out there. So at small forward, I assume this will be unanimous. Uncle Doug, who's your small forward?
LeBron.
This might as well.
Yeah.
I have LeBron at power forward.
Oh.
I have LeBron at small forward. I'm on board with you guys this time. There you go.
Well, LeBron is unanimous, though. He's on all 5
yeah.
lists.
So I would say this was probably LeBron's prime.
Yes.
Was these 4 years in Miami?
I think so.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
I mean,
27.1, 7.5 rebounds, and 7.4 assists.
I'm not just talking about like the stats. I'm just talking about like him like playing in general. I mean, this is when he was like his most athletic.
And
He did some crazy stuff.
I don't know that I agree with that, but I think this is where his job became the easiest because he was surrounded by superstars, and it was hard to double team him, and he had either great players or great role players at every spot. He was like stupid athletic his first run with Cleveland.
yeah.
Like the year he went and scored he scored like 30 points the fourth quarter of that Detroit game.
Yeah.
He was just driving down the lane on a great defender at Tayshaun Prince, and then just raising up and dunking all the Wallaces over and over and over again.
He carried that Cavs team to a finals appearance.
He
there,
did.
but I think in Miami, though, I think it's the peak of his powers. That's when it all started to come together for him.
He
I mean,
had put on a little muscle, not as much as now.
Yeah.
He was still
the freak of nature athletically, but after the Mavericks series, he mentally got over a bunch of stuff, and then he became the LeBron that is now, you know, the LeBron we know now. You know, got over the hump. He started riling off more MVPs there. He won multiple championships. He was an All-NBA defender. He became more intelligent. He can learn how to control the game, the tempo of the game, which he never did before that, which is some of the reasons why the Spurs would beat him and stuff like that. He learned. I don't know. That's one of the reasons the Mavericks beat him.
It's a little bit better.
It just came together in Miami, and then he used that to win the Cavaliers championship. He learned how to win in Miami from Riley and Wade and everybody, and then he took that to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
Oh, and while we're talking about Pat Riley, do you know Pat Riley has been associated with 25% of the NBA championships?
I could see it.
Like between being a player, a coach, and an executive.
I bet
He's
Phil Jackson's up there too.
Yeah.
Jackson's got like 12 as
His-
a coach or player or something.
Well,
like
his
that.
winning. I'm just about Pat hasn't won that all of those, but he's just been in.
Oh, a part of it.
Yeah, he's been
Right.
in
Yeah,
25%.
Because he was on
I got you.
those Lakers teams
I think
that
it
were
was-
losing to the Celtics a lot.
Yeah.
So, like, he got there a bunch of times, but he didn't necessarily win a bunch as a player.
And he coached Magic.
Yeah.
And then in Miami.
And they
he's
went to,
been-
what, 8? Or was he there for all 8 of them, though? Riley, I mean?
I think the breakdown
I
was.
believe he was. He wasn't the head coach, I don't think, for all of them, but
He was an assistant at least for the first
Yeah,
one.
the first one he was the assistant.
Yeah.
He doesn't get bumped up until after the first
Right.
championship, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, into the second year is when they got rid of Westhead. I think it was second year, and then Riley took over.
All right. All right. Well, Ray, who is your small forward?
Glenn Rice.
Man, Glenn Rice getting recognition on 2 teams.
Well, hey, Ray brought some shooting.
Yeah, I mean,
That's right.
Ray brought some shooting. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I considered Rice for 2 or 3.
And the way that we're looking at right now, this team really needs somebody to shoot somewhere besides a 17-foot elbow jumper. But Glenn Rice, nice safe pick at small forward, 19, 4 rebounds and 2 assists with 1.2 steals. Pretty good perimeter shooter. He can pop in for a nice little 2-pointer from time to time. Not the craziest, defender, but I mean decent. But nice safe pick at small forward.
Yeah. Honestly, when I think of Glenn Rice, Miami comes to mind. I don't know that Glenn Rice comes to mind when I think of Miami, but the other way around it works.
Wasn't that the beginning of Rice's career? Wasn't that like
Yeah.
where he got
Mhm.
wasn't that his first team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was his first 5 seasons,
Yeah.
6 seasons at Miami.
Then he went to Charlotte after that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got you. Hey, well, he was really good with the Heat, from what I remember. Anyway.
Well, then he won his title in L.A., right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on the
Yeah.
first one.
Yeah, and he made 3 All-Star games and 2 All-NBAs at Charlotte, but he didn't do anything of that in Miami. All right, well, we have Ray's power forward. We don't have anybody else's. I haven't gone yet, so I guess I'll go. I have Chris Bosh at power forward.
As do I.
Yep, I do.
Yeah, I got Bosh.
All right.
This is funny. 4-1. 4-1.
Yeah, we're pretty much 4-1 across the board, aren't we?
Well, Chris Bosh's numbers are obviously better in Toronto than they are in Miami, him being a third option in Miami, but his numbers in Miami are 18 points, 7 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and a block on 49% from the field, 34 from from 3, and 80% for the free throw line. So he would, I guess, if you don't have Glenn Rice at your team, he would be the guy that you would ask to make a 3.
Oh,
Uh,
Yeah.
I believe he's also the best free throw shooter on the team. So
Yeah. Jimmy Butler shot like 85%,
did he? Was Jimmy at 85?
or it was somewhere in the mid to low 80s or something. And D Wade was like 80%, wasn't he? Or somewhere around 80.
Jimmy's at 85. You are correct. So I was wrong on that. Sorry.
Gotcha. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean to be still a great free throw shooting team.
D Wade was at 76%.
76. Okay.
Chris Bosh, well, he played 6 seasons in Miami and made 6 All-Star teams in those 6 years. So he was an All-Star every year. He won 2 championships. He made an All-NBA team. So, yeah. So, Chris Bosh.
I don't really think his numbers really show his full value there. I mean, you kind of got to look at his Toronto numbers to see what he was capable of. He just didn't get the opportunities in Miami to put up elite numbers. He had a role to play, and he played it.
True. And 18-7 isn't awful.
No, I
That's
wasn't.
not bad at all.
He just
I
wasn't
wasn't-
asked to do anymore.
Yeah. People gravitate towards the guy that's going to average 24 and 11, and they're
Yeah.
in the 8 and 7 guy. But I'm just trying to say Chris Bosh was capable. Like, he was a number 1 in Toronto before he came over to Miami.
Yeah, I mean, he had 5 straight seasons of 22 or more points a game.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he was an elite power forward.
Mm-hmm.
He just had to take a little bit of a back seat when he went to Miami, but he was a great player.
Yep. All right. Well, that's all of our power forwards. So I'm going to assume we all have the same center. But Drew, who's your center?
Alonzo Mourning.
Mine as well.
Mine as well.
Mine as well.
Yep.
Well,
We got
if
one.
we're not using, if we're gonna use Shaq for Orlando, there's really no other option.
Yeah.
I didn't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Like,
put Birdman.
Or Haslam. You want to put Haslam there?
hey, he's loyal. Then there.
You can put Ronnie Cycli.
Oh, yeah, we could.
Ronnie.
Oh, Ronnie Sackler.
Wasn't he a big old goofy white guy?
Yes.
I think he played for Syracuse, maybe. I remember watching him in college.
Alonzo Mourning played 11 seasons in Miami. His numbers aren't as good as I thought they would be.
Well,
But,
there's a trick
yeah.
to it.
Yeah. But he averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 blocks on 53% shooting and 65 for the free throw line.
You gotta look at when he first gets there, and for like the next 4 or 5 years, when he's like 20, 10, and like 4 blocks.
Well, you got to look at...
And then he gets the kidney illness,
Yeah.
and then he leaves,
Oh,
and he comes
yeah.
back as an old man as
Yes.
a backup.
Yes.
So it drags his
Yeah,
stats down.
Yeah.
But he's a machine when he first gets there.
His first 7 years before the kidney, like Wade said, he's pretty much 20 and 10 on an assist and 3 blocks on 53% and
there we go.
67% for the free throw line.
He literally got a kidney illness and then didn't play basketball for a while, and it affected his play for a couple of years. He said it like drug his energy down, and because obviously he didn't know what was wrong with him for a while, and then he didn't play basketball for a while, and then he left shortly, and then he came back to help him win that championship coming off the bench, so the career averages are a little misleading.
Agreed. But yes, when I think of the Heat, honestly, I don't even think of the big 3 Heat. I think of Alonzo and Tim Hardaway battling the Knicks.
Yep.
That's what I think of when I think of the Heat in my head.
Yeah.
Like Alonzo versus Patrick Ewing.
D Wade, I don't think of LeBron or Bosh, but D Wade's the guy I think of, and then probably Mourning after D Wade.
I definitely think of D Wade first.
Yeah,
He's definitely.
probably.
Think of the D Wade with Shaq.
Yeah, that was a
He was that was amazing. D Wade.
Even the
It
D
was.
Wade between Shaq and LeBron,
Yeah.
where they were just like a first round exit every year in the playoffs, he put up some stupid numbers in those
D
years.
Wade was amazing.
One year he averaged like 32 points or something like that, or 31, and he led the league in scoring with it was like 7 rebounds and 8 assists and like 2.5 steals, and it was like, what the shit?
Like we said, those first couple years with LeBron, you could argue D Wade was better than him. Like we've talked about this before. Those first couple.
Yeah. Bill Simmons says when they first meet up, Dwayne Wade was the best player in the NBA during the year they lost to the Mavericks. He says Dwayne Wade was the best overall player in the league, and then things just fell apart with LeBron and stuff in the finals. But I mean, people believe that. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, center is figured out. It's Alonzo Mourning. And then we have a bunch of 4-1s at the other 4 positions.
Mm.
So before we even start to argue, has anybody rethought their position and just want to give in on one of their ones? No?
I'm gonna talk about it first.
I don't know. I don't know what I want to do here.
All right, fair enough. So let me get this straight. Wade, as in the guy on the podcast, Wade, is by himself with Dwayne Wade at point guard, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Wade is also by himself with Jimmy Butler at point or shooting guard.
Yeah.
And then Ray is by himself with Glenn Rice at small forward. And then Ray is by himself with LeBron at power forward.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're
Okay.
talking to Ray and Wade.
And LeBron is on the team.
Yes.
We just have to decide his position.
Yes.
And Dwayne Wade is on the team. We just have to decide his position.
Okay, so I'm going to take my Rice pick off
Okay.
and do that.
Go to Jimmy.
Go to the Jimmy train.
Okay. So you're Hardaway, Wade, Butler, Bosch, Morning? Or no, LeBron, Morning?
Yeah, LeBron. Yeah, it'd be Hardaway.
Okay.
Hardaway.
Yeah, make sure I got
Butler.
that straight in my
Yeah.
head. Okay. Oh, I know Alex's issue with my two guards. What's your all's?
I
I don't
don't
really-
know. I just don't.
Wade, Butler, LeBron, I think it's nasty. It's nasty stuff. I think my lineup is the most talented lineup possible. And even with Tim Hardaway, I still don't think they're going to shoot the ball well. I don't think 35% by one player is going to save their team. And he barely shot 40% overall from the field. And D. Wade and Butler are both just a lot better than him in general. So I just think Butler, Wade,
Well, they're actually comparing
LeBron,
stuff
Bosch,
like
Morning.
Hardaway and Butler. And someone was comparing Jimmy Butler's career to Tim Hardaway.
I mean-
numbers, and I said like close to like the same amount of like all NBA teams because they were deciding whether Jimmy Butler's gonna make the Hall of Fame or not.
Oh,
And they were like comparing like they're all like their numbers like right now and stuff. And I was like, he has pretty similar numbers to Hardaway. So
I mean,
Well,
in Miami,
I will say this: if you have Wade, Butler, LeBron, Bosch, Warning,
yeah.
defensively, that team is a nuisance.
Oh yeah.
Well, they're gonna kill you on defense, and they're gonna slash you to death and get up and down the floor, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're just gonna run you up and down the floor and score. And like we've said in past episodes, unless we're doing our tournament in today's NBA, they're gonna be just fine. I think. I just don't think Tim Hardaway's okay 3-point shooting average and really bad field goal percentage is gonna make that big a difference. And Butler's a better overall scorer, better rebounder, and a better defender.
All right, Wade's convinced me. I'll go to Wade, Butler.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I already had Dwayne Wade, so I mean, I'm just switching positions, and I'll take off Hardaway and go to Butler.
Right.
yeah, why not?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, good point, Wade.
Yes.
It's mediocre.
So just Wade and Butler?
Yeah,
Okay, we can go with that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna fight on that one. That's splitting hairs, really.
All right. So
So what do we have?
So now we just have to decide on our forwards.
Okay, I got you. All right. So pretty much it's Butler or Bosch.
No, well we got
no, we've got 1, 2, 3.
So
we've
we
only
just-
got 5 guys up there.
so LeBron.
Wait.
We want LeBron at small forward then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We all have him as small.
So
So you're
just
on
do
board?
that. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
that's not
So
a big deal.
we're done then.
Yeah, we're
yeah,
good.
we're done.
Yeah, we got it.
So
Okay,
our,
all right.
our Miami Heat starting 5 are
quick.
Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Alonzo Mourning. So I think this is one of the better defensive teams we put together.
yeah, I think
And-
so.
This team going to the basket is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dwayne
Yeah.
Wade and LeBron by themselves are like 2 of the top 5 penetrators like ever.
You're right, but
That's crazy.
the other team's probably just going to be standing in the paint waiting for them because
That's
they don't
probably
have to go out there and get them.
Yeah, but that's just gonna be nuts. Just gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
It's a strong team too. Morning's a monster. LeBron's a monster. D Wade's a monster for a smaller guard. Butler's a monster. Bosch is the only finesse player.
Yeah.
And really, you really don't need 3-point shooters because these guys are like about automatic from 17 foot in.
Yeah, a lot of them do have good mid ranges. Yeah, that's true. That's actually probably a couple of their best shots.
And with the defense, they can disrupt and set up and whatever they want to do, really. Because that defense will take up for the 3-point shot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It'll just depend on matchups when we get to the
yeah.
tournament. That's just
But no, I think that's a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that will end our Miami Heat portion of this episode. And we had another new idea for our basketball talk after this, so I'll let you guys in on what we're going to talk about. Since the finals is now over, today is what is today? June 14th.
Yeah.
So the Nuggets are now officially champions. We're going to have do a little legacy talk, and talk about this playoffs that just happened and how it affected some legacies. So let's start off with the most obvious person. And how did this championship run affect Joker's legacy?
I think it just confirmed. I mean, that's
Yeah.
been the argument all along. As people have been saying, well, he's MVP, but he can't win the title. Well, he's got a title now.
that
Yeah.
championship made all those Embiid supporters look dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is essentially Joker just did what Giannis did a couple years ago.
Right.
Because we had the same argument then. It was, well, Giannis wins MVPs, but he doesn't win in the playoffs. And then he went and won a championship and put up some ridiculous numbers on the way there.
Well, and that's just it. It wasn't just his team won a championship. He was a huge part of
He
it.
had 10 triple doubles in the playoffs.
No,
Yeah, he broke a bunch of records, joined a bunch of elite company and
yeah.
playoff stuff.
Yeah.
What was it? Him, Wilt, and Shaq are like the only ones to do something.
It was like a 30-20-10 game or something like that.
It's like he's done it 3 or 4 times. Will's done it twice, and then what? It was
Or
Shaq.
was it Kareem?
It was either Shaq or Kareem had done it once.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wilton.
He's like on a list now of like he's like one of 10 people ever to have 2 regular season MVPs and a championship and a finals MVP.
And I know we're not a big win shares group here, but he's now 4th all time in playoff win shares.
Yeah, I mean he just
Held him
Well,
out.
and I think he was the only player. How many? It was points, rebounds, and assists. It was like 500 points,
250.
rebounds, and a certain number of
It was
assists
500, 250, and 250, I think.
in the playoff.
Mhm.
The only player to ever do it.
Well,
Yeah, period.
he's also now the only player to lead the playoffs in points, rebounds, and assists
Yeah.
in the
Well,
state
And the
playoffs.
thing is, he has a really good field goal percentage.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a great shooter from the field. He doesn't just shoot a bunch. Like, I mean, he does, but he makes it. Like, he's not.
his championship was like when Dirk won his championship. Dirk was going to be a Hall of Famer, but he was going to be a guy that he was going to be a Hall of Famer that lots of people shit on. But then when he beat the Heat, he officially became an all-time great, and there was no argument against it. He just was, and that's what just happened with Nikola Jokic. All those dumb arguments we've been hearing, they're over now. There's just nothing you can say. He's an MVP. He's a champion. He's a Finals MVP. I mean, it's just over. He's officially an all-time great center.
Here's his averages from the finals. 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists on 58% shooting from the field, 42% shooting from the 3, and 83% from the free throw line.
Can't ask for much more than that.
So not only did he put up huge stats, but he did it super efficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, his stat line in every series was similar to that. That's the crazy
Well,
part.
in the Western Conference Finals against LA, which was supposed to be the best defensive team in the NBA, he put up 27, 14, and 11
Yeah.
on 50%, 47%, 78%.
I mean, it does sound like Anthony Davis did better than Bam Adebayo.
He did, I think.
But still, the Lakers had no answer for him.
Yeah.
No.
They didn't have an answer for Murray.
And then in the
Davis had some
in the
defense.
Phoenix series, he averaged 34 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists on 59%, 44%, and 85%. Wow.
That's why people shit on Ayton. Right?
Right there.
That's
Yeah.
why everyone shit on Ayton. That's the best stat line altogether right there.
Man.
Like a 35-point triple-double while shooting 60%. Like, get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Jokic just cemented his place in history.
Indeed, he did.
Would you say he's one of your top 10 centers now?
I was getting ready to ask that question. Is he?
I mean,
Someone in this room put Embiid at the end of their list.
was it Ray?
It was Ray.
Probably.
Would you switch it now, Ray?
Yep.
I'd probably.
He'd be on my.
I'm trying to think of who's at the bottom of mine now.
You like
I was-
Ewing and George Mikan and
And Reed.
Willis Reed.
yeah, Reed.
Yeah. I'd move Joker.
I'd move him over all three of those guys.
I think Joker is definitely top 10 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether
I'd put him in like the David Robinson territory, Moses Malone territory.
I'd say solid like
He's got
seven.
2 MVPs and a championship now.
And he's Finals MVP.
Yeah, I mean,
And he's climbing up the triple double board.
that might be more than what David Robinson accomplished. To be honest,
I would say
because David was never the
him
best
and
player on a
Moses
championship team.
And David, that's a good conversation. I think that's
Yeah.
good company. Those three
Moses,
Put him
like,
at,
well,
together.
I think the question you have to ask yourself at this point
I put Moses above
was-
Bolton,
was how much credit are you giving defense?
Well, yeah.
Because Joker is not a great defender. And some of these guys we're talking about, like David Robinson, are world class
Yeah,
defensive
he's really
players.
good.
though. Well, and Jokic, the people he has guarding him are not as equivalent to what some of Moses and Robinson had guarding them.
That's also very true. He's
Like-
being guarded by a bunch of 6'8", 6'9" guys a lot.
Which definitely factors into him and Embiid's dominance.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have to see a 7-footer every night.
Getting
That helps.
guarded by small forwards helps center. Usually, when you're a real 7-footer, that helps.
And they're not
Yeah.
hitting you,
Yeah.
elbowing you in
I
the
mean,
ribs every time.
Bam Adebayo is an amazing defender. He's like maybe top 5 defender in the league, but he's like a small power forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's like 6'8", 6'9". Like
Right.
he had no business being able to guard Jokic the whole time.
Well,
That's
he got-
what he did.
He got really exposed in the Olympics because he
Yeah.
wasn't big enough to guard sitters around the world.
Yeah.
Because he's just not a center. I mean,
He's a
He's
small
a power
power.
forward.
He's a
Yeah,
small power.
but he makes the All-Star team at center of the NBA.
that's what I'm saying. That was like my thing. Like Jokic and Embiid aren't exactly tearing up. Like we're talking about Robinson and Malone. They're going against Jabbar and Olajuwon and Ewing and Shaq and like just.
But even bad teams had legit 7-footers.
Yeah.
They weren't necessarily great players, but they were 7 foot tall and were NBA players. I mean, we're talking about we're talking about the top 10 guys, but I mean like you just said, who'd you say? You said Moses Malone or whatever played against these guys.
Jabbar and
Yeah, you said he played against Jabbar, those guys, which is all very true. I'm not taking anything away from that. But none of us thought Robert Parrish was an all-time great, but he was a formidable big to go up against.
Yeah.
On nights you played Boston. Oh, I guess Ray did have Parrish on his
I
list.
did.
Yeah.
I did think about him for the bottom of my list. He was considered.
But like you had Tree Rollins, you had Adam Eaton. These are all very good defensive big men that were all over 7 feet tall.
Matumbo.
Embiid and Jokic get a lot of cheap, easy baskets that you're not necessarily going to get in other eras where the game is slower and there's more 7-footers. And that's all. I mean, that's pretty much what my point was.
But I guess here's my thing. If Joker does what he's doing now, not necessarily win a championship every year, but be in the MVP conversation and put up the stat lines like he's put up now. 25 points, 12 rebounds, 8, 9, 10 assists. If he does that for 5 more seasons, what do his stat totals look like?
They're going to be gnarly.
Because no center is going to be able to be in a conversation assist-wise with him. No, not a single center in the history of the league. His assist numbers are going to be the greatest center assist numbers ever, and it won't even be close, probably.
No, yeah.
Unless like his career is cut short by injury or something. But his points and rebounds seem to be on par with most of the guys we talk about. And his efficiency is out of this world. He shot 63% from the field this year. Like, that's Shaq shit.
Yeah.
Only this guy shoots 3 threes a game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Anyway,
It'll be interesting to watch.
Yes.
I mean, the conversation has started now. We'll just see where it goes.
Yeah, you just got to keep it up.
And knock on wood, but he has been pretty durable for his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully that continues. All right, well, I think another guy that really needs talked about is Jimmy Butler. This is the second time he's taken a team that none of us thought had a chance to go to the finals. Now he's not got the job done in the finals either time. They both got home with losses, but I think we can all agree he lost to a team he wasn't supposed to beat.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he wasn't supposed to beat some of the teams he did beat to get there, but I have said for years that I don't think Jimmy Butler can be the best team on a championship team, but he's gotten so close. So, like, it kind of makes you almost want to eat those words.
Yeah, I think this year just moved Butler up. Like you say, it's the second time he's done it, and now it's on Pat Riley to finish it. Butler's shown him what he can be, and now let's see if Pat Riley can live up to his legacy as being the builder of championships, and whether he can go out and finish it.
I think I said this off air earlier, but I really think what they need most is a number one scorer.
Yeah.
They need a guy that can go out and get you a bucket and you can give them the bucket and isolate or get them the ball in isolation and get buckets because Jimmy's not consistently that guy. But I also think that guy, because of who Miami is, can't be a sieve on defense.
Right.
Yeah. You won't play for Miami if you don't play defense.
Right. Which is why I find it weird that everybody keeps trying to link Dame there. Because Dame doesn't play defense.
But he does fit the exact criteria of what you said they needed, though.
Yeah, he is that guy. He's the guy that'll give the ball to.
And he's a superstar, and I think so anyway. I think he's a legit superstar.
Do you think Bradley Beal could be that guy? Because he's not quite the scorer of Dame, obviously, but he's a much better defender than Dame.
And he can score. I think the past few years he just hasn't.
He won a scoring title a couple years ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he averaged like 30 a game. I think he would definitely help them if he buys in. Yeah. Because, I mean, that's their problem is, like, they're great at grinding stuff out, but if you can expose their defense a little bit and make them have to score a lot consistently, like, they can have games where they score a lot, but it's when they have to consistently go out and beat a team 4 times and have to score a lot most of the time to do it, is when they get beat usually. So, like, Bradley Beal would be a big step in the right direction, I think.
You think you could get a package built around Tyler Hero that'd be good enough to get Bradley Beal?
Oh, these GMs find ways to do everything. I mean, how many players have we said are untradeable and they're traded 3 weeks later? Like, it happens.
Something out. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not saying Bradley Beal's untradeable. I'm thinking, what can Miami do to get Bradley Beal?
Well, actually, right now he is untradeable because he has the only no trade clause, and they're trying
does
to.
he?
Yeah,
He does. He has a no trade clause.
They're
Yes.
trying to work around it right now.
Yeah, his agent is working with the Wizards to where he'll go.
Okay.
interesting. I think it would be an interesting move if they made it.
Mm. But I guess the more interesting question is, so let's say his career ends. Jimmy announces his retirement before next season. Is Jimmy Butler a Hall of Famer?
No,
I don't know.
think so.
If you look at his accolades and stuff, I'm gonna go yes by going by some of the other people that have gotten in.
Well, it was like I said earlier, they were comparing like what Tim Hardaway did for a career, like right now, and they let Tim in.
Yeah, they just let Tim in here recently, didn't they?
Yeah,
Like this year.
yeah, he's in. He's a 6-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 5-time All-Defense. He's got a Most Improved Player award and an Eastern Conference MVP award, which is a brand new award, so hardly anybody has one of those. But
It's not. I mean, like,
his career numbers are 18, 5, and 4.
that's probably better than like Chris Mullins, isn't it? He's in the Hall of Fame.
Is it?
Like accolade wise. I mean, I bet Mullins doesn't have 6 all defensive teams.
That's probably true. Yeah, you're probably right.
Jimmy
on that.
Butler, I bet their all NBAs are probably
Chris Mullin is in the Hall of Fame. You are correct. He's 18-4-3, so very similar numbers. He has 5 All-Stars and 4 All-NBAs. No All-Defense, of course.
Jimmy beats him in all 3 and as the most improved. And yeah.
It's taking 2 teams to the finals.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think he's, by the criteria of who they let in, I mean, I think Mullins was really good. But,
But here's the
just a good
thing, though.
comparison.
Again, we go back to, this is not the NBA Hall of Fame. This is the Basketball Hall of Fame, which they include college in. And Chris Mullins in college was a superstar. Chris Mullins' in St. John's team was, it's a story. It's a storied team that everybody still talks about.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Butler was just a role player at Marquette.
Oh, I mean, he wasn't even very good when he first came in the NBA.
Yeah.
He developed into being a star, but I think he's with the big finals runs that's shown he's actually a winning player, even though he doesn't have a championship, plus the accolades and the really good numbers in his prime years. I think it's enough to get him in, I think.
Fair enough. So, what did this run do for Jimmy Butler's legacy? Just specifically, like, real short answer. What did it do for his legacy?
I think it stamped his Hall of Fame case.
Yeah, I think it pushed him up.
Yeah.
I think it stamped... I don't know if it stamped his Hall of Fame case, but I think it stamped him as who he is. Because a lot of people viewed the last time he did this as a fluke because it was in the bubble.
That's probably true.
That's
Yeah.
true. It confirmed what,
It confirmed playoff Jimmy. That's what it confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just 2 final runs. I mean, he almost made the finals last year, too. He was in
Yeah,
the
so
Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
That's true.
So, I mean, and he's beating teams that are much better teams than him. I mean, in all reality. I mean, as far as, like, talent level. The Bucks and Celtics should have fucking swept the Heat. Let's be
The
honest.
Celtics should be embarrassed. They really should.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bucks, they lost every game Giannis played in. Every game Giannis played in, they lost. And in the games where he missed, they won one. And then the other game they lost, you still have 2-3 other All-Stars. You should beat the Heat, I think.
The Knicks, yeah, he can beat the Knicks. That didn't really.
Yeah. But I mean, the Celtics and the Bucks were the number one.
Yeah, those two should be.
Number 1 and number 2 seed in the entire NBA.
The Celtics are lucky they didn't get swept.
Celtics.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Celtics have the best, deepest roster in the NBA, in my
They do.
opinion.
I do. It's either them or the Pelicans.
And the Pelicans just can't be healthy.
Yeah.
At all.
We're not going to talk about Zion and his
Zion's-
catastrophe right now.
I read something where it's like Zion's played like 90 out of like 330 possible games or something like that. No, that's not the exact numbers, but it's something around there, or like 112 of like 330 or something like that. But anyway, yeah, the Celtics are deep as hell. They have multiple All-Star / superstar players. They're like 9-10 players deep, and they've blown 2 of the past 2 years. They probably should have won the championship. They were better and deeper than Golden State, I think, last year. Now, Curry was just the best player on the floor. That was the biggest problem.
All right. So as far as the NBA Finals goes, we've talked about the best player on both teams. Is there any legacy changes for anybody else in the finals? Murray or Lowry or anybody like that? Was there a legacy change for anybody in there? I don't really see it personally.
The only one I would say maybe a little bit is I think Murray now gets discussed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's really, we've always talked about his potential.
Yeah.
And
Then he got hurt.
Then he got hurt. We were all looking at what they had, and then he was doing well, and then he got hurt, and we finally got to see him healthy. And it's like, okay, maybe we can go back to having that discussion about how good is he going to be. But he's still got a long way to go to prove it.
Going forward, he'll get like all-star buzz and stuff
Yeah.
because of this.
Mm-hmm.
If he's playing well and healthy.
Right, yeah.
Like it'll boost his career in that way that he's from now on going to be getting more attention and more people will focus on him. And if he keeps playing well, this will help his resume.
He started living up to some of the hype that people have had about him in the past.
Well, he had that big breakout in the bubble.
Yes.
He had back-to-back 50-point games in the
Yes.
bubble of the playoffs. Yeah. And then he tore his ACL against the Lakers.
Right.
And then we haven't seen him since then.
Right, yeah. He hasn't. So it was just like all this hype, and then I was like, phew.
Yeah, because wasn't that the bubble where him and Donovan Mitchell both
Yes.
had like 40 points per game against
Right,
each other?
they went crazy against each other.
It was nuts. They were going crazy. They were picking on old Rudy. Boy,
What days? We see how that worked.
that was
out
one of
for
the first couple
Timberwolves.
years he really got picked on really bad.
Yeah. Didn't they just say something about Anthony Towns getting traded, or am I just?
Yeah, that's been a thing that's been floated out there the past year or two in the offseason.
And then he said something today about like when I retire, people will be saying I changed the game.
Karl Anthony Towns?
Yeah, he said that today.
Cat said that?
Yeah, here, let me pull it up.
Change the game, huh?
Yeah, he changed the game.
I'll say, what game is he talking about?
I mean, I don't know.
He's probably talking about big men shooting threes.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
He is a great shooter for a center.
It says, when my time is up and I retire, there will be people that say I changed the game.
So where's he gonna go? Like, are the Knicks gonna try and?
I'll say I've heard a lot of Knicks buzz with Cat, but I don't know.
They're gonna trade one of their good young guys and like Randall for him or something.
Ooh,
Like-
yeah, I'd
like
do
Robinson
that trade
and
in a
Randall.
I'd get rid of
Yeah.
Randall if I'm the Knicks. He was
Yeah,
a
I'd
cancer
do that
during
in
the
a heartbeat.
playoffs.
He did instantly have to have surgery after the season was over.
He did.
Yeah.
All right, so now we go down to the Western Conference Finals, or I guess the losers, or the conference finals losers. I could be wrong, so y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think this really did anything for or against LeBron or AD's legacy.
I think it actually kind of helped AD. He stayed healthy and played really well in parts.
He only had a couple clunkers.
Yeah, I mean,
He
against
was every other game. That's what he
Yeah.
was. He was every other game.
Well, I
his
mean,
defense was phenomenal throughout most of the playoffs,
Yeah.
especially the first couple series.
I was about to say, I mean, he really did his part again in the Nuggets series.
He averaged
honestly.
27 and 14 against the Nuggets.
I was about to say he didn't.
I
He
mean,
didn't play terrible.
that's what Ryan Russillo said anyway in the podcast.
Well,
Here's
here's a,
saw what AD could be and should be if he'd stay healthy.
All year round, yeah.
And I think we saw the beginning of the decline of LeBron.
I'd agree.
He
with
was
that.
tired at the end of the
He
fourth
was.
quarter.
He was struggling.
He couldn't carry the team. I mean, at the end of some of those games when he should have been stepping up, he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
let's be honest.
Austin Reeves
Like
did.
this is, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really not. But that Lakers team would not have made it anywhere in the playoffs if they wouldn't have had huge outputs by guys like Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura.
Yeah.
They came out and had like 4 or 5 25-point games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Schroeder had some nice moments.
Vanderbilt played some killer
Yeah,
defense.
Vanderbilt.
The
Yeah.
Walker guy had that crazy game.
Yeah. Walker had a crazy game. Yeah.
He had that
on
one
the
game that was
Warriors.
nuts.
Yeah. D'Angelo Russell at times, even he had some moments.
Yeah, not in that series, but
No,
the
not-
ones before that. He had a couple nice games.
Well, Russell had a 35-point game in the second. Was it
Early
the Memphis?
on, yeah,
was it the
one of the
Memphis
early
series?
ones.
Yeah.
He had a couple nice ones in the first couple rounds.
Yeah.
just
He
couldn't
disappeared in the.
shoot.
Yeah.
He shot like 26% or something like that in the round against the Nuggets or something.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
bad.
It was some like crazy percentage that threw me off when I saw it.
So here's AD's numbers in the playoffs this year. Against Memphis, he averaged 20 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists on 49% and 82%. And then against the Warriors, he averaged 21, 14 and 3 on 57 and 84. And then against the Nuggets, he averaged 26, 14 and 2 on 49 and 87.
I mean, he pretty much matched Jokic in points and rebounds. I mean, I don't know. I was
think-
impressed that he stayed healthy and had some good moments. I mean, that was just my opinion.
I think, I don't, like I said, I don't think this did anything for Anthony Davis. I don't think it took anything away from Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis was just healthy for the first time in the playoffs since the bubble.
Well, I mean, what's everybody's done nothing but make fun of him since the bubble.
Right.
I mean, and then he actually went out and stayed healthy. So I think it was, I don't know.
I think if it proved anything, it's that Anthony Davis just really, truly isn't a center. Because when it came to, okay, you actually have to guard another center in Jokic, after the first game, they're like, you can't guard Jokic anymore. We're going to put LeBron and Hachimura and Tristan Thompson on Jokic.
Tristan Thompson. Oh, boy. That turd. He didn't play.
The Kardashian lover.
She really does nice.
So to the Eastern Conference Finals. What about those little Celtics? So this
hurts.
what did this?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with the best player, Tatum. What did this do for his? Did this do anything for his legacy? Take away?
I think it just kind of keeps it the same way as we all think he is.
No one ever says anything bad about Jason Tatum.
I say
Ever.
anything bad, but we all know he just.
I think he's overrated personally.
I mean, I think
He's in the MVP talk every year, and I'm like, I don't get it.
I think
Like,
he's
I'm not saying he's not good. He is very good, and I think he's an all-star and all those things. I just don't think he's like a top. I don't think he's top 5 player in the NBA.
Just don't think he's like an elite superstar.
Yeah,
no, and then like he's another one that just disappears for a while. But then he'll have like these 50-point games. Like where
he does do that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: he's a scorer, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, and if his shots not falling, which happens routinely,
Yes.
he does nothing else.
Right. And he's just in a good defensive system, so he doesn't get picked apart.
Yeah, I mean he's a good defender. He's not a great defender. He's not an elite defender, anything like that. He's a good defensive player. You know, he does play defense. He's just not great at it. But I think the person that came out looking worse than that is Jaylen Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
looked bad.
In Game 7, you break the turnover record.
Not only the turnover record, but like you just were chucking and missing everything.
Yeah.
Like he just kept shooting, and I was like, dude. And not only that, but like Tatum had these huge games throughout the playoffs. You know, his 50-point game 7 is, you know, this and that, doing all those things. Jaylen Brown has no moments like that.
Right.
Jaylen Brown, he had some good games, you know,
He did.
26 points, 5 rebounds, you know, stuff like that. But there was no like, oh, he went for 40 tonight.
Yeah.
There was none of that. And then he lays a huge clunker in a game 7. Like one of the worst game 7s I can remember off the top of my head.
He's the only really, really good NBA player I've ever seen or heard of where people routinely just make fun of him because he can't dribble a ball.
Yeah, he can't dribble.
He can't dribble at all. If you make him put it on the floor, I don't remember if it's going left or going right, and he's going to turn it over. He's not like dribbled off his foot. Like,
I
he
can't remember who
dribble.
said it the other day. Somebody was talking about it, and they said, if you're the head coach of the Celtics, so I guess Joe Mazzulla at this point, it is a rule. Jaylen Brown is not allowed to put the ball on the floor more than 2 times.
Yeah.
He really can't dribble.
Oh, it's bad.
Like he was talking about, he's like, running isolation for Jaylen Brown is just a very stupid thing for a coach to do.
Yeah.
Even he gets like shots that he makes, but it's a journey watching him get there.
Yeah.
Like the ball's all over the place. He's losing it, grabbing it again, and then like floating it up real quick, and he'll make it, and then he'll like do something like he did it on purpose, like yeah, and it's like, that's the luckiest shit I've ever seen. Like it's just like, oh man.
All right. Well, now we float down farther into the playoffs, where we have a few more superstars. What do you think this playoff run was like for Steph?
I don't think it went either way.
I think
He's cemented.
they got out of the round that would have hurt. They would have lost to the Kings.
Yeah. I don't think he ever looked really bad.
No.
Some of his teammates came up short, but he still dominated.
Jordan
people.
Poole looked terrible.
Yeah.
Poole
Andrew
looked
Wiggins
terrible.
hadn't played basketball for 2 months?
Yeah.
Clay was bad.
Clay's just
Old or
Well, I'll say
Clay's
this.
never gonna be
I think
Clay
this.
again.
I think Clay's legacy is on the line because he's done nothing but tell us for a year and a half now about how great he is and how he has 4 championships and he's an all-time great and it's a travesty that he's not a top 75 player and all these things, and he was awful in the playoffs.
Yeah. He has not been the same since the injuries.
No.
No,
He's not come back.
And it bothers him.
His level.
his defense is just not good, and he can still shoot. The man, he gets hot sometimes, and he'll have some really nice scoring nights. But
There's times
There's just-
he couldn't shoot at all.
that's the thing. Like if he's not just draining, like it's sometimes
He
it
does
looks-
nothing else.
it looks-
He's worse. He's at least Tatum will grab 7 rebounds a game. Clay averages like 2 rebounds a
That's
game.
why Clay is not an all-time great and didn't make like any of our lists or anything, even though he's a 4-time champion. He's a great shooter, but he's not actually great at anything. He's not a great scorer. He's not a great facilitator. He's not a great rebounder. Like,
He was a good defender until he
was-
got hurt.
he was a good
But
defender.
He's got to get
Yeah.
that back.
He made a couple all
He's got to
defensive
have
teams.
another way to contribute besides scoring.
Yeah.
Side shooting, yeah.
to get the hype that he wants.
And his defense is probably never coming back at this
No,
point.
probably
so he's
But
just,
here's the thing, though. He needs to get his defense back to serviceable.
Yes.
He can't just keep getting blown by.
Right, yeah, and they were blown by.
Yeah, they were blowing by him in the playoffs.
and we've already talked about their season was already compromised before it started.
Right.
They had chemistry issues from we all know what happened, and Jordan Poole was never the same.
Well, in the Kings series, Clay shot 35% from three while shooting 42% from the field. And then in the Lakers series, he averaged 16 points on 34% from the field and 38 from three.
34% from the field.
Yeah.
Damn.
Not good.
Yeah.
So you can't be a terrible shooter and a subpar defender. Like
Right,
you just
no.
can't. You can't have those two things go together.
No.
Okay, let me ask you this: what about Draymond?
He's just gonna be Draymond.
He's gonna be
Yeah.
that moment.
I don't think his went
mean-
up or down.
I think he really submitted who we all thought he was. He's a world class defensive player that loses his shit
Yeah.
and hurts his team
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he almost cost them the Kings series. They should have lost that series, but the Kings didn't beat them when he was suspended. you
It
know,
was just dumb.
Yeah.
Because they let freaking Kevon Looney become Shaquille
Yeah.
O'Neal for a game. Like
Yeah.
the guy had like 20 and 25. Like what?
That was
He
crazy.
wasn't killing people.
I mean, he was.
I think he had 8 assists in that game.
Yeah,
too.
he had like 20,
Rebounds,
25, and 8. Like
Looney was like the star of the first round.
he was. Yeah,
He's like the best player on the whole round. I was
well,
like,
because Sabonis is slow like Looney, so he couldn't keep up with Anthony Davis in the next round.
Well,
Right.
Sabonis is also another guy who is a power forward playing center.
yes.
Right.
And Looney is a big, bulky, husky guy that kind of just moves Sabonis at a couple times.
hmm Well, Sabonis is used to being able to lower his shoulder and go through the guy in front of him.
Yeah.
And Looney and Draymond didn't move.
Right.
Especially Looney.
Yeah. Looney's a tank.
He is.
The way you beat Looney is to make him move his feet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sabonis with that broken hand or whatever, he couldn't consistently make that little jumper, and he wouldn't even look at the rim a lot of times.
Yeah.
So he had to score at the basket in that series. And I think if his hand wasn't broken or whatever, I think the Kings would have won because he could have consistently pulled up for that jumper, and then he just would have scored more and more efficiently, and it would have drug Looney out of the paint, which would have led to more cuts to the basket. And so it just literally just his hand affected that series so much. And
It wasn't
went
just
7
his
games.
jumper, but he was only trying to score over one shoulder, even when he was down the block. He wasn't turning to go in right because of his hand.
Yeah.
So he was trying to score with his left all the time. And, like, he is a very good post player, no doubt about it. He has moves and he has counters to his moves. But if the guy guarding you knows he's going to keep coming back left, they're just going to play you there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They're just going to set up there and
Yeah.
dare you to go the other way.
Yeah.
But even though they lost in the first round, I think the Kings showed a lot of people that they are a legit good team.
I think Fox did what Uncle Doug said Murray did. Fox showed everybody, I'm real.
Right.
Like I'll next year, Fox will get a bunch of buzz.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he got the Jerry West Award this year.
Yeah.
He didn't get the very first
I
ever.
mean, he
Jerry
showed
West
up the
Award.
whole series. I give him
Oh
that.
yeah. I've liked him since he came out of college, but just playing in Sacramento, you just never saw him, heard much out of him, and so he finally got a chance to be on the big stage.
Here's one for you guys. What did Jalen Brunson do?
I think honestly,
He made Cavs look dumb.
Yeah.
I think
And then-
the regular season helped him more than anything. He completely turned around the entire Knicks franchise and took them into the
He made
playoffs.
them somewhat noticeable again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the Knicks have kind of been a joke for the last decade.
They had that one good year a couple years ago, and they fell right back off. And then they got him, and then he actually ran the team. He was a real point
Yeah.
guard, and he scored a lot, and he would get them in the right positions and gave them somewhat of like an alpha on the floor, and he made them look very good.
Yeah.
He did tear the Cavs up. You're right.
And yeah, that's someone who Donovan Mitchell's someone who that probably hurt this year. That did not look good.
The Cavs need someone that can shoot the ball consistently outside,
Yeah.
mainly from the small forward position.
But yeah, I think the Cavs just let the Knicks bigger guys bully him, and I don't know how.
Yeah,
The Knicks don't have.
at least for the Cavs though, it wasn't like regression. Like they still progressed from where they were last year. They were in the play-in last year and lost in the play-in. This year they improved and didn't have to play in the play-in and made it to the first round of the playoffs. Then they lost, but it's still progress. So.
All right, so I'm gonna name some interesting ones here. Joel Embiid.
He didn't help himself.
Not when
no.
your points per game go down by like almost 10 and you're Mr. MVP. You kidding me?
I think the person hurt worst in the entire playoffs is him because not only did he have his performances, but Jokic did what he did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think
After he's wide for 3 years about
Yes.
he needs the MVP over Jokic.
Yeah.
Embiid looks the worst out of everyone in the playoffs with those two combinations of things happening.
And then the 76ers won a game without him against the Celtics.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, James Harden won 2 games for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the greatest postseason in James Harden's life, and you fucked
The
it.
MVP can't close the deal.
You were so bad. Ben Simmons made fun of you on Twitter.
Yes. Yes.
That's bad. He's so mentally fragile. He can't even play basketball games. But he made fun of you on Twitter.
Well, speaking of which, so we think this. I don't think this necessarily hurt Joel Embiid necessarily. I just think it actually cemented who he already was. Because Joel Embiid has come up small in the playoffs every year, but he's always been blamed on somebody else, namely Ben
Right.
Simmons.
He's had scapegoats.
Yes,
Yeah.
and his
He's always
coach
had to be able
and
to blame
everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we blame Doc
It's
Rivers. We
cemented
blame
what
Harden.
some people were saying. There was a lot of people that were trying to fight against it, and those people that were fighting against it just now have nothing to say.
Yeah, Kendrick Perkins got real quiet.
Yeah. I say, Kendrick Perkins was running his mouth a lot until after the playoffs. Then it was like, boop.
Well, JJ Redick on his podcast, of course, who got into the argument with Kendrick Perkins
Yeah.
the day after the finals said, well, I guess stat padding works out pretty well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's how he opened the segment of talking about Nikola Jokic, which is what Kendrick Perkins told him what
Right.
Jokic does.
So did this change anything about James Harden?
It showed that he might be able to get a game or two out of him.
Yeah.
But he did come up super small in Game 7.
Yeah.
We already knew that.
Like, what, 9 points?
Yeah. I mean,
We weren't
Harden
expecting
was
anything
what we've
different.
seen before.
His reputation's still the same.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so what about the Phoenix guys? Did it change anything about Booker or KD?
Next year will be their telling year.
Yeah.
If their team gets filled out, that'll be their pressure
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
We weren't expecting them to win with those two.
And Paul got hurt.
Hurt
again.
Chris
Yeah.
Paul, and we know how DeAndre Ayton is, and then
Yeah.
a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
If really nobody's.
It was bad.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
just they're kind of in the wait and see mode.
Yeah, they got to fill out that roster, and then now, like if they fill out the roster and they have some nice quality role players, and they go and lose in the second round next year, that'll look bad.
Yeah.
All right, I got one for you, Wade.
Oh, Kawhi.
Yeah.
I think everything's the thing. He's already got 2 championships, and he got hurt. It's
Yeah.
fine.
And he looked really good, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
same old Kawhi.
That's the same.
I said, it's what we expected.
Is there anybody else we want to talk about?
Well, what about Giannis?
Everyone likes Giannis, so they just ignored what happened to him, pretty much.
Yeah.
If that was Kevin Durant, people would still be shitting on him today. But since it's Giannis, everyone just kind of lets it go and will ignore it. And he won his championship, so no one really cares.
I don't think this does anything for Giannis. I mean, like we said, he missed 3 games. And the game the game they got eliminated, he went for 38 and 20.
So he did his part.
Well, I think I disagree. He missed like 15 free throws and played hot potato with the ball and almost lost in the game. And their season ended with Grayson Allen running the ball out because
He
Giannis,
did do that, yes.
Giannis refused to do anything at the end of the game because he couldn't hit anything outside of 5 feet and couldn't make a free throw. He LeBron'd it. He ran away from the ball. And it just... it irritates me personally because if that was Kevin Durant, people would just shit on him all day long. But since it's Giannis, everyone just let it go. He got hurt. We make fun of everybody else for getting hurt. He came up short with free throws and ran away from the ball. We make fun of LeBron for that. Like, he lost to a play-in team. Like, it's not a great look.
It's not a great look, but I think the health is the thing. And yes, we do make fun of people for getting hurt when it's every single year, not one time. I mean, Kawhi, we just talked about Kawhi, but it's been like 6 or 7 times now. And KD's been hurt for like this whole second half of his career. We all make fun of Zion, but it's like every single year.
Well, Zion's career never started.
Yeah.
He's got other issues now.
Yeah, he didn't have a legacy because you got to
Yeah.
play to have one,
Right?
Yeah.
Indeed.
No, I don't think it was a great look for Giannis. I just didn't think it was a horrible negative on his legacy.
It's not like he played all 5 games, and then they got.
They did lose every game he played, and they won when he didn't play.
Yeah, I mean, they won one game where he didn't
like,
play and
ruined
lost
his
2
legacy.
he didn't play.
I'm just saying, we hold players to not fair standards. Like we talked about Jason Tatum, how no one ever gets on him for his catastrophically terrible shooting games. I don't know. It's irritating for me sometimes. Like, everyone picks on Anthony Davis, even though he really did about as good as anyone possibly could in that Denver series. He matched Jokic in points and rebounds. He probably played the best defense anyone else did, or probably better than the other centers. But people literally blamed him on ESPN for the Lakers losing. They literally said it was Anthony Davis's fault, like 3 of them did, which is mind-boggling.
But
He was
why?
probably the
Wade?
best player on the team.
Why?
Why what?
Why is it Anthony Davis' fault? There's one reason it's Anthony Davis' fault. It's very clear.
What is it?
Because he's LeBron's teammate.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to have an actual reason. I was like,
That doesn't mean it's fair.
No, I'm not saying it's fair,
right.
but everybody that plays with LeBron gets blamed when anything bad
No,
happens.
you're definitely right on that.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree 100%.
I just don't like
The
back
reason
and
he got
forth,
blamed is because
like-
they don't want to blame LeBron.
Yeah.
And they're not going to.
Right.
It's Kyrie's fault. It's Dwayne Wade's
Kevin
fault. It's Chris
Love's
Bosh's fault. It's Kevin Love's fault. It's Anthony Davis's fault. It's
J.R. Smith's fault.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, that one time it really was.
Well, that's true.
But it's just, yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right.
It's just an unfair standard. Like,
It
Giannis,
is.
Giannis is still an all-time great, and he didn't ruin his legacy or anything. But I'm just saying, if that was a different player that people don't like as much, they would have shit on him really hard.
You're right. That's
Really
what it boils down to. Kevin Durant is one of the biggest assholes in the NBA,
Yeah.
and it's like Barry Bonds.
Right.
It's like dealing with Barry Bonds or Roger Clemens. And Giannis and Jokic are both super likable,
Yeah.
so nobody's shitting on them right now.
Tatum, doesn't talk.
Yeah.
So, no one has a
well,
problem
he's
with Tatum.
betting his son. Everyone loves his
Yeah,
son.
and everybody
Dude.
loves Deuce. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they don't,
And, I don't know why Klay Thompson gets away with a lot of his stuff. but
'Cause we feel
people
bad
love
for
Klay
him.
Thompson, yeah.
some people
I
feel
don't
bad,
feel bad for him.
Well, we know you don't, Alex.
Well, I
people
think they
feel-
liked him so much before the injury.
That's probably true, actually.
He's
Yeah.
getting a little bit of a pass from that, but it only goes so far, and I think it's gone far enough.
Yeah.
That's a
Well,
fair point, actually.
You can only get away with being KD or somebody like that if you are great.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? You can't be a huge asshole and just be as a player.
Right.
Because then people just won't deal with you. They're like, "Oh, go to China, buddy." Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
He's taking this going the China thing too far.
Yeah.
well, I mean, but that's where you go.
I know, but every time someone goes bad, he's going to China. I don't remember who it was the other day now, but it's every time someone plays bad. Oh, he's going to the Taiwan Tigers. Or,
He's going to play with Stephon Marbury over there.
Yeah.
By the way, did you guys see this? Is it the FIBA 3-on-3 basketball tournament? Yeah, it's like Olympic level 3-on-3 basketball.
I mean,
Oh.
I've seen,
But
that
the American team dominated, and do you see who the best player on the American team was?
Yeah.
Jimmer Fredette.
Oh,
Jimmer. He's
Wow.
probably getting up there in age now, ain't he?
I don't know how old Jimmer is, but he went from like the best player in Chinese basketball history to 3-on-3 gold medalist.
Wow.
I mean, he was a boss in college. He was. How long is this episode, Ray?
We're at an hour and 9 minutes.
Oh, fuck.
we probably talked
He's 34.
basketball.
I didn't realize how long we've been rambling.
Really?
Jimmer's 34.
I knew he'd been dropped a
Wow.
long time ago.
Now, there he is on his Jimmer Fredette dominates FIBA 3-on-3 World Cup.
He was.
Yeah, I gotta look up his stats here. Hold on. I don't know what good stats are in the 3-on-3
Yeah, what
tournament
is
though.
Do they play to something, or is it a time
Yeah,
limit?
that's what I was going to ask.
Because if you play to like 21, then like
Yeah, he might
You
Or
can
is
only
it
average-
that new way that they score. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I said there's different. I don't know what kind of 3-on-3 rules they have.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
what
Is it
they
like
are.
Gus Macker? Like when you
Well,
go like 15 minutes or the 21? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah, we watched a little bit of the last Olympics, but I don't remember the rules.
yeah.
Like every 3-on-3 tournament I ever played in, like 75% of them were all you just go to a score.
Yeah,
And most of the
Like-
time you go like 21.
Yeah, or like 15.
15 or
something like
21,
that, yeah. Like, because, it's a low score, so it shouldn't take forever to get there. And like
Play by 2s and 1s.
Yeah. And like, guess Macker, there was like an overall limit in case you went too long or whatever, but
Yeah, but most of the time you get to
Yeah.
the score. You know one.
it was a pretty decently long time limit. I don't ever remember playing in a game where we actually went past the time limit in Guess Macker.
There probably was when I was younger, but that's because we could.
Oh, yeah.
a little maybe.
But when we got older, someone would always got the 21.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was younger, I was the team getting to 21. When I got older, I was not the team getting to 21. We got our ass whooped the last few times.
I don't know. I'm not finding much on like stats or anything, but he's just talking about how he's been dominating.
That's pretty cool.
3-on-3 is different. You think just taking
It
away
is.
2 people, but it really does. It changes the way.
It opens up the floor so much.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we talked about our players' legacies here. We appreciate you tuning in for this Miami Heat episode. We would appreciate you tuning in for the Milwaukee Bucks next week. I'm sure we'll hear about Giannis again. So don't forget to email, rate, review, comment, whatever you think would do us justice. We appreciate it. And thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.